Hello friends, welcome to Southern Seasons. My name is Jody and I'm so glad that you joined me today. If you love decorating, DIYs, thrifting, French country, shabby chic, and a touch of farmhouse, then this is the channel for you. Today's video I am going to be doing some DIYs, mainly with a lot of paint and some lace. Now check this out. Burlapfabric.com sent me these gorgeous laces. I love this one with the burlap and the lace on it. I have this one that has the beige lace and the exact same one in the white. I also got this really cute trim in the shape of flowers. There are so many things that I can do with that. And this scalloped edge is really, really gorgeous, I think. I love that. This is a real big one. It's much wider. It's got flowers and leaves on it. Let me get this opened here. Check it out. Isn't that gorgeous? I have some great ideas for this. So let me show you what I'm going to be making with all of this trim. The first thing that I'm doing is a flower pot with my paper clay and a scrap piece of burlap. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put my paper clay on the pot. I like to have the center of it to be a little bit thicker, and then I make the edges a lot thinner around the outside edge. Okay, and now I am taking that piece of burlap fabric, I'm just pushing it in, and look at this gorgeous texture. I'm also going to kind of go with my finger, rub it in flatter, and the end of my paintbrush, I am making some cracks in it. Now here's how it turned out. So I'm just going to be painting this with my Americana warm white paint, and then I'm going to be adding some of that lace. So I'm going to be using this lace, and I've gone ahead and cut out 3 separate pieces that I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to be Mod Podging these on. Just want to kind of place it here, see which way I want to do it. Okay. And I will be putting the Mod Podge on the lace and some on the pot. And I'm just going to place it where I want it. I have to put a little bit more Mod Podge on here. Okay. And I will be putting Mod Podge over the lace here on the pot too. Okay, there's that one, and now this other one here I'm going to put on this side. Okay, let's put it on, figure it out. The hard part's figuring out where you want to place it. And I am placing this some of the lace over the paper clay too. And now for my last piece. All right, so when this all dries, I'm going to be repainting the lace with the warm white, and then I am going to be taking some of my gray craft paint with a really damp piece of paper towel, and I'm just going to be rubbing in this gray color all over the pot, making sure I get into all the cracks and crevices. Okay, so that is all I'm doing for this pot. My next pot is a little bit smaller, and I'm going to be using that warm white paint again. And I'm probably going to have to do about 3 coats on here. So I'm just going to do this really fast. I decided to use these brown pots that I have because I only have like 3 of them, and I just didn't really like the color anymore. I bought them this color. I think I got them at Michael's many years ago. Now I am going to be putting some lace on this one too, but it's lace that I already have. I'm going to put this lace trim on the rim of the flower pot with the Mod Podge. Okay, and then I have another piece of lace trim here that I will be putting on the bottom. And again, I am putting Mod Podge over the top of the lace. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be doing for the bottom part. It just happened to fit perfectly. This is just some old lace that I've already had for many years that I'm using. Now, once this is all done and dried with the Mod Podge, I will be repainting the lace again with the warm white. And then when that dries, I'm going to be using my gray craft paint, and we're going to go in just like the other flower pot that I just did. Okay, so now that it's done, I'm using this paint called Hammered Iron. Unfortunately, it is not available anymore. I have had this for many years. And again, I am using my really damp piece of paper towel to rub it in. Make sure I get it all in. And I am trying to do this one just a little bit heavier. And I did end up making one more of the smaller pots like this with the paper clay and those little the flower trim, and I will be showing you that here pretty soon how that turned out. So really quick, I want to show you a few eggs that I did. Now this is just one of those plastic Easter eggs, and I took some jute and I just wrapped it around like this. And I thought this is nice enough the way it is, you know, if you're doing some rustic, but I also thought that this little flower trim would be so cute around this egg. So I'm just going to hot glue this on. I'm actually just going to tack it at that spot, bring it around, and then tack it over here. Really cute, really simple. Now I also have a few other eggs here to show you. These are some terracotta eggs that I have. I have some brown and some white ones. This is just a piece of lace that I already have. Just going to hot glue it around the middle of the egg. As you can see, I have some buttons. That is what I'm going to be doing. Going to be hot gluing some buttons on this thing. So I'm just going to pick a few out that I like and strategically place them on the egg. And I'm actually gluing these on the seam of the lace to cover it up. See how pretty that looks? Now I'm going to do the white one. I have another piece of lace trim. Just going to hot glue it on in the middle. Okay. Actually, there was enough glue on there to attach it there. Again, I'm going to use some buttons. Let me pick a few. And I have this little silk flower that's pink. I want to add a little bit of spring color to this. Put a button there. This is just another piece off of this little pick that I have with the little pink berries on it. I think I'll put a few more buttons on here. See what I like the best. Okay. All right, I'm also going to be adding another button and a few more of the berries on there. And I thought I would use this little cream colored flower too to put next to the pink one. All right, so I did end up making 4 more of these terracotta eggs. So let's see how everything looks with the pots and the eggs that I did. So these are the 2 pots that you saw me make. I think this looks really cool. It looks really aged, almost looks like cement. And here is the other one that I didn't show you where I just put the flowers on here. And I also have this other egg on the left that I did with the blue. And this one right here, I added a few more buttons on that, and these 2 here. I think these are really cute. So let's get started on the next project. So I got these 3 mason jars at the thrift store. This one's really unique. It says Jardin, and it says established 1946. This one's really cool too, saying mason jar with a star in between, and of course this is just one of your common mason jars. I am going to be spray painting these with my chalk paint in linen white. I'll also be hand painting them too with my regular chalk paint. Now I'm going to be distressing these. I'm going to show you this one because this one has more details than the other two. Has anybody seen one like this before? I'm not sure. I grabbed it right away when I saw it because I've never seen it before. But I'm just going to go and do my distressing on all these details to make them pop. And I will also be doing some at the very top of the jar and at the bottom. And of course this is sped up. I wish I could go this fast. And then I'm also going to do more on the jar here and there. Give it a lot of distressing. So this is the first one that I'm going to be working on. Now I'm just going to use some of that scallop lace, and I am just going to be putting it around the bottom part here of the lip and just hot glue it on like so. Now I'm also going to be adding some jute to here. I'm going to do it above the lace, and I am just going to be hot gluing one little piece right here, and I'm going to wrap it around, and I'm making sure that I'm not covering up the ridges here. Just kind of going in between the ridges of the lid or the lip. Okay. And now I just made a little bow out of some of the jute. I'm going to hot glue it on here. Okay. And then I'm going to use some buttons. Again, I like to use lots of buttons when I use lace and jute. I am also going to be taking some of this trim. I'm just cutting one flower off, and I have a real small button that I'm going to hot glue to the center of the flower. And now I'm going to hot glue this on top. Okay? And that is all I'm going to do to this jar. Now I'm going to work on this one. Again, I am taking some jute, but I am actually going to be wrapping this lower. It's going to be below the lip. And I just added a little bit of hot glue there, and I'm going to wrap this a few times. You know, I didn't count it, but I kind of want it to come down a little bit to where it starts getting squarish down there. I'm going to trim this off and then just hot glue this end. Okay? All right, the next thing that I want to do is add some more of this little flower trim, and I'm just going to cut this to size and hot glue it on. I really like this little flower trim. It's the perfect size. I'm just making sure that they're straight and I don't have it twisted. There we go. I'm just going to tack it on this other side here, okay? And I am going to be adding a couple more things here. Now I've gone in, and as you can see this button here, my thing messed up, but you can see that chicken wire ribbon there. I made a little bow, hot glued it on, and made a double jute bow and glued that on, and then I'm taking this button and gluing it in the center. If I can get it to stay. Okay, and that is all I'm doing to this jar. So on to the last jar. Okay, so this one I'm going to make it a little fancy looking. I have this little raggedy lace bow that I made, and I am just going to hot glue this on. And I am going to be taking, you can see that burlap and lace trim right there. I just cut a piece that I'm going to make it like a little bow tie here. Just going to fold that over, scrunch it together, and I got a little piece of jute here that I'm going to tie it really tight with. Okay. I'm going to make sure I have a knot in here. Make it really tight. Okay. Just going to cut the ends off, and I'm going to hot glue this on top of the little raggedy lace bow that I made. And I did forget to show how I did this. I will be showing this on another project in another video. Now I'm just taking this watch face. I have a whole bunch of these. I collect old watch faces, and from pocket watches and from wrist watches. And I thought this one was really nice with the white face to it, and it has the numbers and the hands in gold color. And that is all I'm doing to this one, so let's check all three of them out. I have them sitting here together. So which one is your favorite of the jars? Leave me a comment down below which one of these jars you like the best. Now let's get on to our next project. I have this little bunny here that I got at Joann Fabrics a few years ago, and I'm just going to take the tail off, and I'm also going to take the bow off because I want to paint this with that warm white color. Now that I've done that, I started doing some stamping on here. I am using two different flower stamps, one that's a key and one that's a keyhole, and I also have a little single flower stamp that I'm doing. So this one I'm going to put across the ears here like so. Okay, I think that looks really pretty like that. I want to put one more in this space over here on the side of the head. Don't know if I want to use that one. I think I'll go ahead and use this one again. I'm not going to use the whole thing, just a little bit on the side. And before the ink fully dries, I'm just going to kind of smear a little bit of the ink on here, just to kind of give it a little bit of streaking. Now I have gone ahead and made a little pom-pom tail out of some yarn that I have, and I'm just going to hot glue it back where the other tail was. Now this yarn has got like some gray in it, so it's got a little bit of the cream and the gray, and I thought that looked really pretty with the black stamping on here. And I didn't make it super full. I didn't want it really full. And I do want to put a little bit of a bow on one side of the ear here. So what I decided to do is take some pieces of jute and some of the yarn and a few pieces of scrap lace that I have. And I'm just going to put them all together, and I'm going to take a piece of the yarn and just tie them all together. Okay. Then I'm just going to hot glue this on here. And I also have this pre-made bow that I showed on a previous video that I'm also going to use. So I'm going to hot glue this on right here. Okay. Then I'm going to take the bow and hot glue that on too. I'm just going to fluff it a little bit. Okay, and trim a few of the long pieces off here, and that is all I'm going to do. So let's get a little closer look at the bunny. So here he is, or she actually. I do like the stamping on here, and like I said, I did do a little bit of the smearing of the ink before it fully dried, and I like that effect. You can kind of see the different colors in the tail there. Okay, on to the next project. So this is from the Dollar Tree, and I'm taking all the tinsel off. I bought 3 of these, but I'm just going to do one for right now. I'm going to take the tinsel off, and I'm going to save it. You never know what you might use it for. I'm also going to take away the little glitter Easter eggs and save those for another project down the road. You know, this one was a little bit more easier to get off than the bunny. And it does come apart like this, so you just can snap it right back together. So I'm going to be covering this with the jute. I decided not to spray paint this ahead of time because you're not going to see the gray at all because I am going to be wrapping this about 3 times around the basket. So you won't see all the little bump outs of the plastic. I like to leave those on there because it helps hold the jute in place as you're putting it around the basket. And I will be putting some of the jute around the handle also. Have to pop the handle out, the handle comes out on one of the sides real easily. I'm going to finish wrapping the basket and then I'm going to get the handle wrapped. Okay, so I've got it all done and now I'm going to be using some of that scallop lace, which I really love this lace, and I'm just going to hot glue it around the top of the basket here. I'm just trying to figure out where I want to place it. And let's go ahead and get the rest of it glued around the sides to the back. You know, you can leave it just the way it is, or you can add a little bow to it, whatever you want to do. I am going to add just a little bit more detail off to one side here. I'm just going to glue some of these down here. They're kind of lifting up, and I don't want them lift up like that. Just those 3. That's enough. Okay. So now I made one of those little... I did another one of those little raggedy lace bows with some buttons, added some Spanish moss, and I'm also going to add some eggs in here. So let's see how it turned out. So here it is up close. I think this looks really cute. I only added 2 eggs, but there is room for 3. So now let's get on to the last project. So here is a picture frame that I got from the Goodwill a few years ago. I've never done anything with it. I have taken the glass out of it because what I want to do is do a whitewash on here with this Americana paint called Warm White. I really love this color. So let's see how it turned out. So I like how this is, the way I whitewashed it, because I wanted some of the old color showing through. So I cut a piece of cardboard to fit in here because I'm going to take this piece of tissue paper and Mod Podge it on the cardboard. So I want to use it where this key is at. It fits perfectly on here. So I'm going to get that cut out and get it ready to be Mod Podged. So I'm using white cardboard because, you know, with the tissue paper, I don't want a dark color if this was the brown. So if you can't find white, all you have to do is paint your cardboard white. So I'm using a lot of Mod Podge. I want to put this on here carefully. See, not that carefully, I guess. That's okay. You know what? I like to have wrinkles in this. All right. I also got this from the Graphic Fairy, or is it Graphics Fairy? And I cut it out, and I'm just going to use some Mod Podge and place it on here because I want this to be more of a spring display in the frame. Now once all this dries, I will be putting it back into the picture frame, and I am going to be putting the glass back in here too. So here it is all together. It looks pretty just the way it is, but you know what? I want a few more embellishments. So I am taking some lace that I already have. So I think this is the perfect size for in here. And I'm just putting it around this edge. And I'm kind of folding it in a little bit on the corners so I don't have to cut the lace. And I'm also going to be adding a little bit of trim in here too on top of the lace to cover up, because this is like got stitches on it, and it will cover up the stitches area. And I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, so here it is with some of the trim around it. And I left this corner like that because something else is going here. And I did miter the corners on here, and they're getting covered up with some buttons. I love buttons. I have lots of vintage buttons, as you can see. I have some there, but I have a lot more than that. So I'm just putting the buttons in 3 of the corners because I'm putting something special down there. Okay, here goes the last button. So now I'm putting a cute little bird's nest here in this corner. I'm going to make sure I get lots of hot glue on here so it will stick well, because this will be standing up. Just going to add a few more squirts of hot glue and a little bit more over here and right there. Okay, that should do it. Now I'm going to be adding some eggs. Aren't these cute? I'm just going to add 2. All right, so that is all I'm going to do. So let's get a closer look at it. So here it is. I think this looks really, really cute. You know, I could put a few more embellishments on it, but I think this is enough. I know I probably should have had 3 eggs, but you know, that's all I could find of these little styrofoam ones that I had. All right, so let's take a look at all the projects together on the table. You know, I really love all these projects that I did. I love lace, I really do, and buttons. And I love all that new lace that I got from burlapfabric.com. Now, I do have their link down below in the description box, plus all the links to all of the products that they sent me. I think you should really try these flower pots. It's really not that hard. So back over to here. Check out the bunny one more time. And the mason jars. That is it for the video today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Be sure to go check out burlapfabric.com. They got lots of great items. I know I'm going to be getting some more things from them for sure. I want to wish everybody a very wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.